Too Naked to Hide by Nina J. Course. Chapter 18. The Map of the Stars and the Darkness of the Night. She turned the light off. They remained immersed in the darkness of the room. He felt her bustle about by the door, when he was blinded by a bright white light. On the wall before him, the clean-cut rectangular ray of a projector illuminated part of the white wall and the painting by Zancanaro. "Okay, Giovanna, so what's with it?" "Oh, nothing. Just wait." Click. The wall projected the image of her. She looked worried and was trying to insert a key in Jacopo's front door. He immediately recognized that skirt and the white shirt. "Who's this one? Wait, what was the name again?" "Giovanna, that's enough." "Oh, yes, that's right. Judas, I think. Yes, this is a picture of my friend." Click. Jacopo holds his arm over her shoulders. They are walking under a portico. The photo is taken from behind. An easy shot. "Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking whore would suit her better. Judas not fitting because she was so in love, poor thing. She comforted you so very much. A real nurse. Whore is a tad more suitable, don't you agree, Jacopo?" Click. Jacopo leans closer to her and kisses her. They are at the park. His Vespa is parked near them. She's wearing her jogging clothes. She had gone running, and he had surprised her. "And yet war is still not quite right. You two could participate in a sexatron Olympics. After all, she's younger than me." Jacopo stopped feeling anything. At first, he thought he'd soon be taken over by cramps. But nothing. No pain, no rage, no misery. Nothing. He couldn't feel anything. Just Giovanna's voice ringing in the dark room. His bowels squirmed in the cold grip of grey, thick concrete. "Now, this one's a nice shot." Click. The two of them by the office door. He is leaning against the wall and she is leaning on him. This one was taken after the elevator. That's when they had laughed like teenagers. Maybe the first time he had really seen her. The time when he had started to become aware of something that he had never seen and never experienced until then. Or maybe war is a bit much. We could call her the poetess. How's that? Like that? Click. The wall showed a picture of Jacopo's email, sent email, and a long list. Click. Received email. Another long list. Sender and receiver were always her. He saw, gigantic, the map of the stars. I saw the map of the stars, drawn on the skin of your arms, and I want to trace their trail close, rub my nose, breathe the sand, open my mouth to taste the grace, run my tongue over the stars, and tail their path where now it hides. But past your arms I cannot see, and past my gaze I cannot go. The abyss of my incursion longs for me, and I stay alone in front of the dark. The map of the stars on your arms lies painted, linking points and matching lights of years of life, of kisses done, and all is distant, hopeless, mute, and mute am I am too far, a losing warrior with too many lines. For you are the sun, and I am earth. And yet I know that if you only laid your heavy head on my boundless womb, that you would see magma surge with might. You'd touch the deep from up the sky, and you'd be soiled with mud and dark. For dark is the earth, but so is the sky. For stars are of fire, and of fire is magma too. Yes, I'm thinking that maybe Poetus, War, and Judas may go together quite well. What do you say? Click. The train station. The two of them talking so close, their lips are almost touching. That was the morning they had gone to Venice together to see the Biennale. You've nothing to say? My investigator did a good job. Now, don't you think? He even sent me a computer jig to hack into your account just this morning. Not legal, but see, we do what we can do to protect our interests. Jacopo said nothing. He had the feeling that all the blood in his body had dropped down to his feet. But he felt no pain, nothing. Damn it. If I'm not having a heart attack now, I'll never have one in my life. Oh, I am a colossal hassle. But I should pay you my compliments, Jacopo, really. You managed to dismantle yet another family. She switched the projector off, then swung the door open. She walked to the door and pulled up the blinds. Jacopo was impassible. After all this, he felt absolutely nothing. But her husband is still in denial. He wants to keep her, the slut, instead of giving her the bull and send her toward the streets to make a living. Poor thing. I truly feel for the guy. Reminds me of myself a few years ago. He's still unaware she's gonna do it again and again and again. In any case, they left for the holidays together. You knew that? Oh, of course you did. Giovanna walked to her bag, rummaged inside, and pulled out a lipstick. And in September we're going somewhere abroad. He's taking her to the Red Sea. 1 week, the two of them and the kids. And in August we're going to the thermal bath. You knew that? She took the lipstick, pulled out the golden cup, and twisted the base. The red cylinder glided swiftly over her lips. It was new. You could still see the sharp edge of the cut into the paste. Giovanna pressed her lips together and let her lips slide the one over the other. Jacopo was still silent. I've also heard that she complained about, well, it's unpleasant to talk about it, but about your erotic performances. Could it be age lowered your stamina? Giovanna's lips glistened. Defined but slightly jagged and deep, a few wrinkles appeared in the skin surrounding her lips. Small cracks, jagged and deep. It was the first time Jacopo had ever noticed them. That lipstick didn't look good on her. Jacopo moved and walked to the door. She went on, undaunted. Book the ferry ticket. You promised the kids. But for the rest, you can do whatever you want with her. You can even marry her. Why don't you marry her, that fucking bitch? Giovanna had placed the cap back on the lipstick, throwing it into the open mouth of her bag, where it hit against something and clinked. Jacopo placed his hand over the door frame. It was polished, sharp-angled, but smooth. He tried to grab it. It was hard to hold on it. Giovanna turned to him and stared at him still. Her thin lips moved fast, direct, merciless, no pauses, no rage, no emotion whatsoever. In September, we are seeing the judge for the divorce. Oh, good. That's exactly what I wanted. And you can forget a mutual consent. We'll put out a splendid full divorce. Marital misconduct at its best. Perfect. Finally, at almost 50, you'll get what it means to be a divorce lawyer. Careful, Jacopo, don't provoke me. Oh, please, Giovanna. I'll destroy you, Jacopo. You know it, and I know it. Don't wear yourself out. You've already done most of your homework. You are a sorry excuse for a man, nothing but human waste. At 20 years with you, you have destroyed me. This is the worst thing you could ever do to me. We've been through this already, I thought. You are a compatible piece of scum. A liar. You ruined your family and ours. You ruined the life of 4 children. That's enough, Giovanna. I'm tired. I'm leaving. You're a sick bastard! Giovanna, before I go, can I please have the name of the investigator? The photo you shoot downstairs is a keeper. I'd like to have it blown up poster size. He walked into the corridor. Chiara was standing there, paralyzed, her eyes open wide. Oh, Avvocato, I didn't know if I should walk ahead or come back. Always forward, Chiara. Always forward. The urgency of you is such. I fear you will forget me. Oh, forgive me instead. While I'm looking for you, in the silence, in the absence, in the abyss. Still, you explode inside me for days and for nights. That's why I dance in the forest alone. He arrived home, turned the air conditioner on, and left the lights switched off. It was still almost daylight. Then he stepped downstairs, took off his leather belt with a dry, brisk movement. He took out his pants and placed them on the clothes rack. Then his shirt, which ended in the dirty clothes basket. The basket was full to the brim, and he remembered that the washing machine needed to be fixed. He didn't care about that. He walked into the shower, and the flow of warm water seemed to give him a moment of comfort. But he hastily got out of the bathroom. The house was silent. He opened a drawer in his closet and pulled out a clean t-shirt. Then he took out a pair of house pants. He remained barefoot. Everything was covered in half darkness, and everything lay silent and inert. He switched off the lamp on his nightstand, then climbed the stairs in the shadowy stillness of the room. He opened the fridge and took a quick review of its contents. He grabbed a beer bottle, opened the cap, and drank straight from it. The liquid was cool, and it dived straight into his cement. He looked around. The day's newspaper was still lying unopened over the kitchen table. He had travelled with him all day, a newspaper with quite a trip on his back. The beer was already all gone, and he still felt thirsty. He opened the fridge and grabbed a second bottle. He opened the cap and turned a table lamp on. Then he stretched over the sofa. He looked at the newspaper. The air conditioner buzzed a rivulet of cold air in. He felt tempted to turn on the radio, but on second thought he decided against it. The beer descended coolly down. The concrete was still there. It was there to stay. All of a sudden, the pain seemed to him to be unbearable. It had climbed up from somewhere inside his bowels. His feet stirred. He had made up his mind now. He threw the newspaper on the ground. There was nothing to think about, nothing more to mull over. The decision was taken. He got up abruptly and opened his apartment door onto the landing. He climbed the stairs up barefoot. The stairs were steep, uneven and loose, his steps heavy, his breath short, but his mind was made up. In his mouth, the taste of beer made it difficult to formulate words, or rather impossible. He climbed up all the flights of stairs, and before he realized it, he was up on the roof. He didn't look around. He just felt his feet lift up, his knees bending upwards. He was now beyond the safety perimeter and walked straight to the edge without any hesitation. His mouth was still sticky.
Jacopo.
He bit his tongue, and he could now feel the taste of blood in his mouth, warm, sickly sweet, and now even his own blood made it hard for him to breathe. Maybe he should have swallowed, but he couldn't.
It's a hard word.
His throat was shut.
Jacopo.
It felt as if it were sealed.
Velocissimo.
One step towards the
A
void.
piedi nudi.
His arms open and the void below. Just another step forwards. That's all it would take.
Nudo ti voglio e nuda
He
anch'io.
heard a voice and steps behind him.
Sento la luce del mondo che mi inonda.
He didn't linger. He didn't wait.
Jacopo!
He leaped down.
You son of a bitch. You selfish.
Time stopped still.
You, a useless man.
But his heart didn't. His heart beat wildly while he felt from the sixth floor over the roofs of Padua. He saw Giovanna
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
screaming, yelling, tell me, but he couldn't talk with all those layers of duct tape over his mouth, because he had duct taped his mouth shut so as not to scream.
Io soffro, ma non voglio dirti.
You asked for it! Somebody shouted behind him, but he couldn't see who it was. He could only see a hazy wall of darkness streaked by lightning. I looked for it. It's all my doing. It's just my fault, my own responsibility. I went asking for it.
Jacopo.
The voice yelled obsessively in his head.
Così nuda, che non oso coprirmi.
The Dutch tape pulled his cheeks tight, making it hard for him to breathe. He had to remember to breathe with his nose. Focus on his nose, because how could you reach the ground below without breathing?
È la forza del mio guerriero.
This was wrong. It was an horrible mistake. He didn't want to fall anymore. He was afraid of
I
it.
love you. Così viva che non oso muovermi.
He should have never climbed up to the terrace. What a piece of
Così
idiot.
grata che potrei
His
morire.
mouth was still full of blood. And that's why he couldn't breathe. He didn't count that in when he had planned to jump off the ledge.
Il mio mondo è qui e io respirerò il fresco, aspettando
Duct tape over his mouth and his breathing getting heavier in his chest, his torso squished by the darkness, and his fingers rigid and tense in a spasm of squeezing something, anything that could mean safety. But his wrists were suddenly tied together, immovable. Thought he had jumped off with his arms spread apart. They were now tied behind his back, pulling hard, trying to break free, while long pieces of metal penetrated in his flesh and cut into the thin skin of his hands, and his legs claimed their dose of oxygen, kicking into the dark air, kicking the void in the desperate search of a foothold.
Sono così nuda che non oso coprirmi.
On which he could save himself and breathe again, and he tried to wriggle out of his bins, but he was held tight, rolling down in the darkness, in dark concrete, plummeting over the city, and somebody screaming behind him, yelling incomprehensible words, and he couldn't see who was yelling, because he couldn't turn around as he plunged in the night. But soon he would reach the ground. There was no more time to fight, to struggle, to survive. All he could do was surrender to death. Soon his flight, go to the ground, would be over. Soon he would feel nothing at all. He would soon be dead, and everything would be over. The asphalt raced towards his face at a mind-blowing speed. He felt a gash in his chest. He opened his eyes. Translation from Italian by Iris Cartia. Original music by Massimo Moretti for Maxmore Music. Post-production editing by Gina Lee. All mistakes are mine. If you want to see pictures of making of and life in Italy, please follow me, Nina J. Course, on Instagram and LinkedIn.